Hello and welcome to a special edition of News from Our Rooms. This show will be following our voting experience, and for many of us, it's our first time voting, myself included. So let's go ahead and kick it off with our correspondent, Nadia.
Hi guys, I'm Nadia Johnson, and this was my first time voting in a presidential election. Now, I actually early voted with my mom and my sister. The whole process took no longer than an hour, and it taught me a lot. It taught me that, you know, you have to know what's on your ballot, and just because you're not just voting for a presidential election, you're voting for a lot of other things. So make sure you know what you're voting for, make sure you know what's on the ballot. And secondly, voter suppression is very real, and it can be a long and exhausting process. So make sure you have a chair, you have some snacks, you have something to keep you company, whatever you have to bring to make sure that your voice is being heard. And the one thing I really wish I could have experienced was the sticker. I know a lot of people in Louisiana didn't get to actually have a sticker, but I made this voting shirt that says vote, do nothing, change nothing, to wear, around election time on election day. That way, you get the little I voted excitement going on for the election. As you can see, we're still getting results, but hopefully we get them soon, and we can start working on our future. So for NSU TV, I'm Nadia Johnson.
All right, next we have a story from yours truly. So let's go ahead and take a look at my story.
It's a big if. If Biden were to flip Texas and he took the 2016 states that Clinton won back then, that's it. That's a game.
Hello everyone, today is the big day. Today is election day. I am here in Shreveport, Louisiana. I could not get up this morning, but we finally made it. I had to take some time to look at the voting ballot because, of course, this is my first time voting and I'm 21, yes. 4 years. You started at 18, I believe. And was it 3? Is it 3, 4? Math? Oh, not my thing. But it is my first year voting, and this is my chance and my first time letting my voice be heard. And considering everything that's happened this year from COVID-19 and my own personal experiences, I think this is something that, I could be a part of, that I can have a voice in, and you can too. You get out and vote today. If you didn't vote this year, what are you doing? Come on, vote. It's your voice. You matter. Your voice matters. And I also took some time to look on my iPad and look at the choices I had, because I didn't know half the questions. I didn't understand them, so I had to look them up and research them and take a look at them. Like I said, I am at a church right now, if I didn't say that before, and there is a line, as to be expected. Last day voters, late voters, the last crowd hurrying just to cast their ballots right before the election starts, the usual. But we're gonna go ahead and take a journey and see how that day goes. So let's go on and take a look. We cannot forget my younger brother is here to vote. This is his first time as well. How excited are you to let your voice be heard? All right, we officially just finished, me and my younger brother, but we have no stickers.
We don't.
I was promised a sticker. Where is it? Where is it? Hello everyone, it is the next day, but I thought I could give you guys some useful tips when it comes to voting. So a lady approached me asking her precinct, and she did not know what precinct she belonged to. So here's some useful information for you next time you go out to vote, so you can be prepared. Log on to voterportal.sos.la.gov, and I will leave it on the screen somewhere. And this will give you all the useful information from your status, what parish, and the precinct, and so much more. So next time when you go out, you'll be prepared. For NSU TV, I'm DeAndre Ashley. Welcome, demons. See you guys later.
Next we have Nyasha. Let's take a look at hers.
This election year, many people stood in line to vote. Me, living in New Orleans and being placed here in Natchez, this was my voting house. I was able to look at this box right here for my ballot. I voted right here in this little sectional, and yeah. It was really cool to be able to vote my first time. It's my first election, the first presidential, albeit. Voting for this election was monumental. I'm so glad that I was able to do it. I think me and my ancestors will be very proud of what I was able to do. No matter the outcome or what the country will be for the next 4 years, I'm glad that I was able to put my input on it.
And we have James, Natchitoches quick bits, and some election news for you.
As I'm recording this, it's November 4th, just after noon, and this edition of the Natchitoches Quick Bits is going to be talking about the election returns. I won't be mentioning politicians, but rather the constitutional amendments and additional propositions that was on this year's ballot. All the results that I'm going to be talking about are 100% reported, which is all 64 parishes and all 3,934 precincts. So let's get started. This is one of those times where I'm going to be referring a lot to notes that I have, so forgive me if I don't look into the camera. Constitutional Amendment 1, relating to declaring there is no right to and no funding of abortion in the Louisiana Constitution. 62% voting yes, and 38% voting no. Constitutional Amendment 2, amending the determining of fair market value of oil or gas wells, 58% voting yes and 42% voting no, which will allow for the production of oil and gas to be taken into account when determining fair market values for oil and gas wells. Constitutional Amendment 3, amending the use of budget stabilization funds. 55% voting yes, 45% voting no, which means that the state legislature can use 1/3 of a rainy day fund to cover the state's cost of a federally declared disaster. Constitutional Amendment 4, limiting expenditure limit for state general fund. 44% voting yes, 56% voting no, meaning that the current formula of spending limit multiplied by the average annual percentage rate of change of personal income for Louisiana for 3 years prior is maintained. You got that? Good. Constitutional Amendment 5, authorizing cooperative endeavor tax exemptions. 37% voting yes, and 63% voting no. This means that local governments can't enter cooperative endeavor agreements with new or expanding manufacturing establishments and allowing them to make payments to taxing authorities rather than paying property taxes. Somebody is burning out here, and it smells good. Constitutional Amendment 6, increasing income limit for homestead exemption special assessment level, 62% voting yes, 38% voting no. This means that the income threshold to qualify for the special assessment level for residential property owned by seniors and certain military and disabled persons from $50,000 to $100,000 per year beginning in 2026, adjusting annually for inflation. Constitutional Amendment 7, creating Louisiana Unclaimed Property Permanent Trust Fund, 64% voting yes, 36% voting no, which means preserving money that remains unclaimed by its owner or owners. And finally, on Natchitoches Parish ballots, a proposition to allow sports wagering activities, 60% voting yes, 40% voting no, which means that in 2 years I will legally be allowed to take the ad revenue of this video, which will be about 5 cents, and wager it on Alabama winning the national championship. And that's it for the Natchitoches election returns. Please remember that you have a say in how your municipality, county, state, and federal government handle differing issues. And for NSU TV, I'm James Stanfield.
Next, we have a Keldrick. Let's take a look at his story.
Well, as the whole country knows, Election Day is coming up and people everywhere are encouraging you to exercise your vote. Demon football players had the day off from their activities and were given some time to go vote. Here is sophomore cornerback Jalen Garrison on his thoughts about this opportunity.
I think it was really cool for the coaches to allow us to go vote on Tuesday because it showed us, they care about our rights as human beings and that we're more than just student athletes. That our voice matters as well, and that we play a huge role in this society as well. I just think it was really cool and showed that they care.
And now we have 2 more stories from our correspondents, Zoe and Hannah. So let's take a look at theirs.
So we're in class right now, and I was supposed to be talking about elections. Well, at the moment, I don't want to talk about elections at all. I don't want to have anything to do with it because there's just so much going on that I don't want to say the wrong thing and end up getting berated or bashed for it. Because that's how everything is nowadays, right? Seems like it. So basically about my voting experience is that I had to go, and at one point, I went back home with my mom. We didn't wear masks or anything. We're in a very conservative parish. That's just how it works. Didn't use the little finger glove, whatever it was. And I went to vote. We used a little card. Kind of like how you use a debit card. I am not showing y'all my debit card. But how you use like a little debit card with a little chip in it. It looks like that, but it was like plain white and just had a little chip in it. So you like put it in and then you did a little touch bar. I remember like whenever I was younger in like primary school or anything like that, they would use the little touch, like the buttons, where like it would light up on the side and then you submit. But this one was like an actual touch screen. I was like, wow, very technological advancements. What? Anyways, so we did early voting, and that was literally right before I headed back to school. Literally right before we headed back to school. I was there whenever it opened because I had to head back home that day. I had to be back by around 3:30, 2 o'clock, 3:30. But yeah, again, I don't like talking about elections. I don't like talking about anything like this. So yeah.
Voting is taking place across the United States, causing most American citizens to go out and vote in the 2020 presidential election. The 3 ways to vote are early voting, mail-in ballots, or on Election Day. I'm here in front of Oak Grove United Methodist Church, where citizens of Natchitoches are coming here to vote for the 2020 presidential election. Here are a few NSU students describing their experience as first-time voters.
I voted because I wanted to exercise my right as an American.
It felt really good to vote. It was really surreal because this was my first time voting in a presidential election. I was really excited because my voice could finally be heard through a vote.
I voted in person this year, and it was my first time voting, and it was everything that I expected it to be.
Growing up, I always watched the presidential elections, and I always imagined what it would be like whenever I actually got to participate in one. This year, I got to be a part of this monumental election, and it was so surreal to me to actually get to see this take place, knowing that my vote matters.
I will be watching the results tonight. I'm very excited to see the outcome of this. I will be watching it with my roommates. We're going to build a bonfire out here and hook up the TV and see what happens tonight.
People begin setting up to watch the ballot results come in, whether that's by a bonfire or in your room. Always remember, voting is your right to use your voice. For NSU TV, I'm Hannah Angel.
All right. That is all that we have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this election coverage from News from Our Rooms. And as always, fork 'em, demons.